Hello, everyone.
Hello, we're back.
We are back.
Yes, Monday Night Live Q&A.
I'm John.
And I'm John.
And we are BQuest.
BQuest, well-being.
Well-being.
Or BQuest consciousness, as we call it now.
BQuest happy. Are you happy?
BQuest, how happy are you?
Are you expressing your happiness?
Yes, indeed. So, okay.
So what's the deal, John?
So we are doing live intuitive guidance. So it's trying to help people see and identify what their intuition is trying to tell them. So we have a number of different tools we share, and basically, if you're not happy, if you're not pain-free and feeling in bliss, then that's your intuition trying to talk to you and tell you that that you're misinterpreting or something that you're doing is not quite right. So the happiness is our natural state. The bliss and the joy is our happy, normal state. So when we're not in that, when we're feeling anything other than that, worry, stress, fear, anything like that, that's our intuition. That's our inner guidance trying to talk to us and say, hey, you're getting this wrong. You know, that what you're thinking is a problem is not a problem. So that's the basis of all of the intuition. So if we've got pains in our body that aren't healing, if we've got long-term chronic pains and stuff like that, that's our intuition trying to talk to us. It's trying to tell us, our soul, if you want to call it that, our higher self, our Christ consciousness is trying to talk to us and say, hey, this is just a message. We're trying to get you to change, let go, resolve. So basically here we guide anyone, if anyone wants to come on and tell us what issues they've got, even little things like what pisses you off, what annoys you. That's a message. That's a message that you've got that inside yourself that you need to let go of, so then it won't annoy you anymore. So whether it's a physical pain or physical condition, or whether it's just an attitude problem, it's the problem is you're just not listening to the message. If you listen to the message, then the situation or the attitude will heal itself almost instantly. It's like in most cases.
Yeah. And so the one thing we do ask is to be descriptive. Use descriptive words that you relate to, that really describe what it feels like to you. So if it's left and right, like if it's body, some ailments in bodies, if it's on the left side, the front, the back.
Your description of how it works. So
the particular area, if you can
describe the pain, describe how the pain feels, describe anything like that. Or, like the fun ones we're doing last week, you can say, what annoys you, slow drivers, blah, blah, blah. Things that annoy you are in you. So if you can recognize where they're in you, they're not often in the same place, and you recognize that and agree to deal with that, then it goes away and the annoyance doesn't annoy you on the outside anymore. So this is all of the intuition. So intuition is being taught from within. It's tuition from inside. It's your inner guidance. So all of these things are just messages from our soul, from our spirit, if you want to call it that, trying to get you to correct your own. It's always our point of view that's the problem. It's our point of view or what we're holding on to that's the problem. So if you can recognize that, if you can identify that, and this is what we're here to help you do, is to identify where your point of view about something is incorrect. And then as you correct it, the ailment, the problem, the issues, the stresses, they just go away almost instantly. So if anyone's got any issues, any problems, any health problems, message us or come on live, describe it. Come on and have a chat with us on live.
There's a Zoom link. If you've used Zoom before, it's a little web conferencing thing that we're using. You don't have to enable video. So you can be wearing your pajamas if you're wearing pajamas. And you can come on and chat. It's much more fun, we find.
Yes,
and we can work through things a lot faster and a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Having conversations, sometimes it's a bit difficult with the questions to get backwards and forwards. If you've asked a question, we might ask you to clarify it a little bit more.
Yep. And if it's too much, like some of these questions or some of these issues just relate to so many different things in our life that we can't answer them in a short way. So some of them will say, look, we can't answer that in this shorter period. They require a bit more research because a bit more talking back and forth to find all the other things that they relate to.
Yeah.
So some things relate to one issue, but other things can be intertwined with so many other issues. So we've got one there, have we got?
Rosa just mentioned that she had a platelet injection on Friday for her tendonitis on her right elbow.
Tendonitis on your right elbow. So tendonitis is So tendons have generally got to do with control issues. So right elbow has a lot to do with solar plexus, and so it's in your right elbow. Your right arm's got to do with your daily habits and practices on the outside. So things like, well, basically, let's just go to the anger part. It's generally got to do with anger. It's you're being angry because you're not following your own guidance and your self-esteem. So there's anger issues about how you're seeing your physical world on a daily basis. So your daily habits in the physical world, which is usually, if it's related to the right side, it's usually going to have some problem with a male. You think that a male won't let you, or he will not approve of you doing what you want to do or need to do on a daily basis. Yeah, so the tendonitis is maybe you're working too much and you're getting angry or your inner beings get angry because you want to have some more downtime, or you want to have some more creative time. And, the tendonitis is the problem with being in control of what you're doing on a daily basis. So the tendons have got to do with control. The solar plexus, which is related to the elbows and knees, has got to do with, your own self-esteem. So you got to look at your daily physical practices that you're not doing, that you might be overworking and you're not doing enough downtime, or you're not doing enough play time or creative time. And then that builds up an anger, and that anger creates the tendonitis. It's a really interesting one. But again, we'd have to talk to you and find out and help you explore to find out which issues they are. So it's daily habits and practices that you either are doing or not doing, that you're getting angry and you're not being flexible, you're not controlling it because, maybe it'll make someone else upset. Maybe, if you don't work hard enough, your dad will get angry, or your husband will get angry, or something like that. You're giving yourself some reason, usually related to a male, why you can't do it. So.
Okay. Angela's asking a question about her husband. He said that his bottom right side of his tummy is having a dull pain on and off.
Bottom right side of the tummy. So that's usually the we call it the large intestine or small intestine. That's like, that particular area is about following your feelings, following your emotions, about pleasures. The navel chakra, it's going to be around that area. So that's our inner child. That's the part that wants to have more pleasures and more fun and everything else. So because it's on the right side, he's stopping himself somehow from having more external pleasures, more play time, more social time, more, just things that are fun for him, right? So that dull ache is the blockage in the intestine, in the large intestine or whatever. So it'll probably be the ileocecal valve was getting blocked up there, which is between the small and large intestine. I know that one because I had that one a lot myself. And that's but the main issue is he's not allowing himself to have physical pleasures, external pleasures. So he might be saying he hasn't got enough time, or hasn't got enough money, or something like that.
Some such thing.
So he can't go on whatever his fun pleasure things are. Some people like to go out and drink. Not that that's necessarily a good one, but whatever is pleasure for you. Some people like to go and play sport.
Yeah, it could be going and watch sport. Could be going and play golf. Yeah, or whatever.
Any sort of pleasures. There's a blockage there. The dull ache is it's not a big problem yet, but if he doesn't start looking at what he's not allowing himself to do on that fun side, that dull ache will become a constant pain. Yeah. So at the moment it's on and off, so it's not a big deal, but he needs to really look at, where he's blocking himself from external physical pleasures.
He did just lose his dad to lung cancer.
All right. So that could also be that connection of that. If it's that, it can also be an unplugging. So we plug into people through our chakras. So it's that letting go of that emotional connection with his dad, which again will stop him, like that sadness, and that stops us from having fun and stuff like that. So again, it's really hard to talk to secondhand. So we need to sort of get some feedback off the people. So to try and find out which issues it is, because it can relate to a myriad of issues. That's why we sort of get feedback and we ask for more questions. So if anyone does want to ask questions, generally ask them about yourself, because then we can at least get some feedback, or, some of these things go quite deep and they intertwine to many different things. Okay.
All right, where are we? Lula, I broke my left ankle in November, and now I've got one cut on my left hand, cutting avocado, and had surgery.
Okay, so left ankle, left hand is base chakra, navel chakra stuff. So the break in the left ankle, the bones represent negative emotion is resentment. So there's a buildup of resentment about you not following your spiritual or inner path. So there's resentment there, and it's probably from you probably thinking you can't do what you need to do for yourself on the inner or for your spiritual path, because you don't have enough time, or you don't have enough money, or people won't approve of it. Maybe some females, mum, or if your boss is a female or something like that, you're worried that they won't approve of you. Focusing a bit more on your spiritual direction and where you're going spiritually, or where you're going on your internal direction, is also the left side. So so there's that build-up of resentment. Basically gets to a point where the bone breaks to release that resentment. So I know this one because I've broken many bones in the past. And so you have to, the resentment just builds up a little bit over time, just from not following your spiritual direction. And so same as the cut on the left hand. So a cut represents you need to look inside, because the problem's inside you, and it's inside. Again, on the left hand, the cut is telling you it's about your daily spiritual practices, what you're doing on a practical level. So maybe you want to be doing more meditation every day, or maybe you want to be doing more, singing is a spiritual thing. There's, you might be wanting to do more yoga or something like that. So there's something to express your inner, to express your spiritual, that you need to look at. That's the resentment building up in the bone. And then the cut on the hand is trying to point to the same thing. You've got to look inside you for the answer. What are you not doing that you want to do? It's building up resentment.
Okay. Louisa, I've just had a lumpectomy surgery on the right breast. When I went into surgery, I also had lower back pain, but this is nearly completely disappeared after surgery. Do you think these were related at all?
Yeah, so the lower back pain, again, this is following the emotions, following the feelings. So a lot of that pain, because it was before surgery, maybe you're worried about money if the surgery went bad or something like that. So you're worried about the money if your recovery time was longer, or that something worse came out. So you wouldn't have been able to follow your emotions, or could have affected your money. So you wouldn't have been able to do what you were going to do. And so it sounds like the surgery was okay. So the back pain's gone away, because that worry's gone away that, you won't be able to follow your feelings, or you're worried about money, so, having too much time off or something like that. So generally, a lot of the lower back pain is indirectly related to money, thinking we can't do this because, we're going to have too much time off, or it's going to take away my ability to earn money or something like that. And because it sounds like it was a success, then it's taken that worry away, so the back pain's gone away.
Okay, Angela, my right elbow has been sore, and now it's gotten worse and moved up to my shoulder and neck.
Okay, so right elbow, right arm in general. Again, this is about, so the arms represent our daily practices. So every daily habit we have, what we need to do every day. And the right's the external, the physical ones. The left's more the spiritual and the internal stuff. So the right arm is some simple practices like, brushing your teeth, eating a good diet, exercise, playing, spending some time, quiet time. These are all things that we do externally. So the elbow is where it started. So that's the anger and what did you say about the elbow? Sorry.
Her right elbow has been sore, but now it's gotten worse.
So the elbow and the shoulder, and this is about being flexible in your daily practices. So being flexible in how you can do them or what you need to do. So maybe you're too rigid on. You're telling yourself you really want to do this, you really want to do that. I need to exercise more. I need to eat better. I need to sort of spend more time like just slowing down or something else like that, right? So And then the shoulder and the neck, this is judgment. This is not communicating these needs to if you're in a relationship to a male, or you're not expressing it and saying that you need some more time, or you need to do these other things a different way. So it's really about your daily practices, what you do, your routines each day on the physical side, and about expressing that. You probably think you can't because your husband or your son or your father or your boss won't approve of that or won't allow you to do it. So you need to try and work out how to start talking to them and telling them what you need and what you need to do and what you need to change and what's right for you to do on your daily habits and practices on the external, even socializing, even, just balancing out what you're doing on a regular basis each day.
Cool. Okay. Mandy's asking about autoimmune disease. Is it lichen sclerosis? Sclerosus. SCLEROSUS.
Autoimmune disease. So I'm not sure about that. Either of those names, I'm not sure what they are, but I'm reasonably sure that autoimmune disease has got a lot to do with the nervous system and the immune system. So again, the nervous system is really about communication. There's a problem with your communication. It could be the communication between your head and your heart and your gut. It could be the communication with the outside world, telling people around you what you need. But anything to do with the nervous system has got to do with the communication issues. So you need to start learning how to communicate your needs, your wants, either to yourself or to the people around you. So sometimes it's like our head gets too bossy and doesn't allow enough time of expression for our feelings and our emotions. Or again, I don't know what the logic is, but the two would be involved together. So something like this would really have to talk to you and start putting all the different pieces together, because each one will link to the other, and there'll be a really key point there that'll go, okay, so that's where the communication problem is. So for people like that, if you want to come on live and we can talk to you and ask you a couple of questions back, and it'll really help for us to help you find it, because one person's communication issues is completely different to another person's.
Okay, Jody's asking about in the left side of my mouth, there's been a swollen feeling for over 2 years after a tooth was pulled out.
So again, I'll need a bit more detail here. The left side of the mouth, around the teeth.
After a tooth was pulled out.
Yeah, it was after a tooth was pulled out. So I'm guessing it's in the gum or so different areas of the mouth relate to different things. So if you can give us a bit more detail,
more information.
It's the upper and lower, which
part of the mouth,
and what the numbness feels like and stuff like that. So we need a little bit more detail on that. So what else?
That's it for the moment that we've got.
What was that bottom one? Something about sinuses or something?
I think Angela was just saying surgeries in the sinuses. I'm not sure what that means though.
Is that the one that said the other things? No. Okay.
No.
All right. So even other issues, you can see what annoys you. It's a lot of these things, the things that annoy us on the outside that people do, and that's also telling us what we need to change on the inside. So everything that annoys us, that animates us, is in us somewhere, but not necessarily in the same way. So you can sort of really catch those things up, right?
So Jody's come back saying it's the gum and the teeth in the bottom.
So the gum and the teeth in the bottom is
swollen feeling.
So the swollen feeling is a build-up of. So the teeth are most of the teeth are to do with like chewing over ideas, like mulling through things. So
it's like something is stuck between it.
Yeah. So it's like you're not chewing over some ideas, or you're not letting yourself express the ideas that you've chewed over. So there's a build-up of energy and that around it. So it also relates the lower mouth and lower teeth also relate a lot to the navel chakra. So there's you're not what's stuck is you're not chewing over and talking about some emotions or some thing that you want on an emotional level on the left side. So it's usually about expressing your feelings for what you want for you, the personal time, what your emotions need on an internal basis. Again, it's really difficult without asking you some more questions, because we'd have to really dig into that one, because there's like about a dozen different things that it could possibly relate to. So some questions back if you want to come on live.
If you do want to come on live, Jody, there's a Zoom link at the top. If you click on that, and then request to come in. And
if not, I'll do another couple of free half an hour readings this week. So if not, if someone wants to talk offline and that, I'm going to do 3. So the people who PM, I'll give 3 half an hour readings this week for the first 3 people to personally message or comment here and just drop a comment saying you want the reading for free. And that way I can talk to face and help, because we've got to ask a lot of questions, because as I said, each different issue can relate to so many different things, and they can relate to the people or they can relate to the spiritual path. Some of them are quite easy and obvious. Some of them are a little bit more hidden because they relate to other things. So more questions will help us really track that down. But that one just feels like it's got some other hidden issues. There's something that's stuck there. So we'd have to ask a lot more questions and guide you on that.
There's one from Ree, and I'm going to do my best to get this right. I have constant headaches from idiopathic intracranial hypertension. I'm on medication, but I still suffer.
I've never even heard of that one. Let's just deal with the constant headaches. So hypertension. So the constant headaches again. If you can just, who is it? Ree, yeah. Can you just tell us where the headaches are? Is it the front of the head, the back of the head, left or right? Just give us another quick comment and just tell me which part of the head is the headache
and how it feels.
And what is it? Yeah, is it a dull? Is it a dull? Is it sharp? Stabbing. Just give us a little bit more of that. Just front, back, left, right, sharp or dull, and then I'll go back to that one.
Cool.
What else we got?
That's it for now, I think.
So you can, there's other issues about, the things that annoy you, the people around you and stuff like that. So we can, those things is like if lazy people annoy you, you've got laziness in you somewhere. So, but you're not lazy on the outside, you're doing all the work and everything, but you could be lazy on the inside, and you could be lazy with your posture, or you could be lazy with your speech. And then if you find out where you're lazy, then those lazy people that are around you don't annoy you anymore. So if you find out where it is and agree to start correcting it, these things outside of us that annoy us are also a message from outside.
Okay, so Reed's come back with the back of the head and the left temple, and it feels like a pressure.
So the back of the head is, this is power issues. Well, most headaches are holding on to old limitations, right? So the old limitations can be a number of things, but the back of the head, you're holding on to old limitations because of the past. So it's past beliefs. So even the diagnosis, the hypertension and all that, these could be the old limitations you're holding on to, that there's a physical problem when it's actually an energetic problem. That could be one of the old limitations you're holding on to. There's also the pressure on the left temple. That kind of indicates that the temple, in the middle of the temple, is actually a healing point. So you're not giving yourself time to heal, or somebody else is interfering with the way you need to heal or whatever else. So, but it's really, you're holding on to old limitations, and the old limitations generally it's a power issue in you with the back of the head. So it's like, you could be, again, the headache ones holding on to the old limitations. It's much better if we talk and we sort of bounce back, what you think you need to do. But I'm guessing a lot of it's got to do with the diagnosis. The old limitation is the limitation of that there's a physical problem and it needs to be fixed physically, when it can be fixed energetically, right? And so there's an issue there about holding on to the past, holding on to the old limitations of what you can or can't do because of the past, or because of what you've been told in the past, or the way you've been trained, or what you've been informed that it is.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes we misinterpret that pain as being bad, right?
Mm.
You know, and so therefore we get a feeling and we think it's bad, but it could actually be clearing, right?
Yeah.
And because we jump onto it going, oh, it's painful, there's a feeling of pain.
Yeah.
We then interfere with that clearing.
Yeah. So sometimes you've got to ask the questions and listen to the answers. That if it feels light, you know, you've got to say, feel the pain in the back of the head and just go, ask yourself, is this me holding on to old limitations? And then if the pain gets less when you say that, then that's true. So then you say, okay, so I don't know what the limitations are. How do I start letting go of them?
Yeah.
How do I start?
Show me how to let go of them.
So if you ask that question and it's not holding on to old limitations, the pain will actually get worse. It'll get stronger. So that's a no. That's the answer's wrong. So just by asking that question, you'll instantly get a little bit less pain when it's there. Just ask that question. Is this me holding on to old limitations from the past? And then it's like, and then it should get a little, say if it's a 9 out of 10 pain, it should go down to an 8 or a 7 or something like that. Sometimes it'll go right down, but often it'll just go down a little bit. And then you just go, so how do I start letting go? Well, I'm not sure what these limitations are, but I'm willing to start listening and show me how to let go of them and show me how to start changing. And that, you know, that's all you need to do if you can do that properly. But that's why at first it's really hard to do that. So that's why we give people the guidance and try and listen to their questions and try to find out exactly what the old limitations are. And, you know, it could be old physical limitations of not changing your diet. It could be anything. It could be a number of different reasons. It could be, you know, a lot of the old limitations have got to do with our family and our friends. So but just checking it and saying, is this holding on to old limitations from the past? When it's there, does the pain decrease or does the pain increase? If it decreases, that's a yes. And then you go, okay, so guide me how to let go. I don't know how but give me guidance. And then keep your eyes and ears open over the next days or so. And something will pop up here or there. You'll get a message or you'll see an ad or something like that. And that indicate what the limitations are. But as I said, I don't know if we've already got the free people that want to got free half-an-hour readings.
Reese posted a comment.
Okay. That one. All right. So we'll work more on that when I do the one-on-one with you.
Cool.
So if anyone's got like, you know, any other issues, you know, so sometimes a lot of the pains that we're getting are other people's impressions that they're putting on us. So if it's left side stuff, it can be females, you know, we're getting impressions from females like, you know, we feel something, especially we feel it more on the outside. Feels like the pain's coming from the outside. Often this is other people's impressions that we know, family, friends. They're, you know, thinking that we're sad or we're, you know, this or that, and we can get a lot of pressure and pain from that. And it's like, so again, we just go, is this somebody else's impressions? It's like we've got the tool. Is that my feels?
Are they my feels?
Are they my feels? So it's on a video on YouTube, and you can just say, is that mine? And if it gets lighter or it gets less painful, that's a no. That's not. You just say return to sender or go away. You know, not my problem.
Not my problem.
And that can really clear a lot of those things up fast. That's probably more what the one in the temple is. But again, I'll have to ask a few more questions about that.
Yeah, she said it makes a lot of sense. She definitely holds on to her past.
Yeah. So it's like you just ask now just ask your inner being, ask your self, your higher self. So, okay, show me what these limitations are. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to find out, and I'm willing to start letting go of them. You know, you don't have to let go of them all at once. You just have to agree to start doing it, and you'll feel the pain start to dissipate instantly. It's like just by agreeing to do it, and then you keep your eyes and ears open, and you know, it might be a conversation at the next table or something. Somebody will say something, you go, oh yeah, I do that, and then you go, okay, so how do I stop doing that? You know, how do I stop buying into other people's opinions or whatever it is? So that, you know, that really starts to work fast, and especially with something like that that's been there for a while, you get one of them and it's just amazing because you go, wow, how many other physical problems have I got that are not physical, that are not
quite a turnaround, right?
Yeah. Okay. So if anyone wants to come on live, there's a link at the top there, and you can come on and have a little chat with us.
Come on, have a chat.
We can explore some of your little.
Come on, have a chat. It's fun.
Little it's fun. Things that you think are problems or whatever. It's like and it's you that fixes it, because we point you to what it is, what the message is trying to tell you, but it doesn't fix it unless you agree to look at it and agree to work with it. You don't have to like fix it all straight away if it is the old limitations. You just have to start to fix it. You just have to agree to start to look at it, to start working with it.
Yeah.
And that takes away the pain, right? And then as you work with it more, then it actually changes the body posture and all sorts of stuff.
Cool.
So, all right.
Thanks, Ree. All right.
All right.
Anyone else?
So anyone else, they got any, issues with people around them, people who are
What pisses you off?
judgmental.
What annoys you?
people who
I like doing this.
Yeah.
What annoys you? What are you like? Fuck, I hate this, or fuck, that pisses me off.
Yeah.
What are some of those things? Tell me some of those things.
In the car, people who fucking don't indicate, or people who, don't go fast enough. It's like people are too slow, or people at work who, don't do their job properly. Anything like that. What annoys you the most? Because then we can help you find if that's in you somewhere else.
Poor you.
Everything. So, the things that annoy you, if everything's annoying you, then you're going to, it's going to be hard for you to move.
Sucks to be you.
It's going to be hard to move forward because it's like our emotions and that are directed by our subconscious, which guides our life. And so if everything's annoying us, then it's really hard to sort of change direction and move direction. So we've got to get rid of these negative emotions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just really don't move forward and change. We can see it in our mind and we can agree to do it. But if we don't get rid of things like resentment and envy and judgment and things like that, then they'll just keep repeating themselves over and over again. And it's like, if everything annoys you, maybe the problem is that you're doing everything for everyone else. Stop doing everything for everyone, and then everything won't annoy you, right? Stop being everyone's hero and everyone's, stop doing everything for everyone. Just start doing things for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, these words indicate what the problem is. So there's an everything problem. So where are you doing everything? You're doing everything for your kids. Are you doing everything for, everyone else and not doing enough for yourself? These little words are real good indicators of what the issue is inside of ourselves. So, I used to get judgmental about lazy people, fucking lazy cunts doing this and that and all the time. And a few people that used to be around me. And then one day I've gone, I know this. I must be, it must be in me. And I was like, but I'm not lazy. I work hard. I clean up. I do everything. And then I go, but I must be lazy somewhere, but I'm not lazy outside. And what I was working on at the time was my speech and my posture and stuff. And I'm like, but I'm lazy with my speech. I'm lazy with my posture. I'm lazy with the way that I eat. And so then I just agreed to stop being lazy and start working on my speech more and start working on my posture and the way that I eat. The next day I went out and seen these same people that have been annoying me for fucking 10 years. And they didn't annoy me anymore. They were still just as lazy as they were, but I just didn't care anymore. And I was like, it just blew me away. I was amazed because it was the same circumstances. But I had just agreed and started to work on not being so lazy with my speech and posture. And it didn't bother me anymore. I just didn't care.
Yeah. So Jody, financial worry, be more specific. Give us an example. Ree, people who stare at my son with Downs. Annoys them.
So people who stare at your son with Downs. So why? We need a little bit more detail on that. So what's the problem with that? What do you see them looking at?
Yeah.
Why are they staring? We need to what the reason is you think they're staring for. And then because I've got half of it, I just need the other half. So why do you think they stare, or why do you think that why do you think they should or shouldn't stare? So just add a little bit to that.
Yeah.
What's the problem with that? What are they doing?
What do you think's wrong with that?
Yeah. So I've got half of it, but I just need the other half. And so the simple part, we'll deal with the half that I've got, So it's like, what are you staring at? What are you staring at all the time and not, So I'm guessing that when they stare at him, like there's nothing you can do about it, and they're staring and it's got the feeling of, they're staring like there's something wrong, or you should do something about it, and you can't because it's got Downs. Like I got a daughter with missing chromosome. So they stare because he's different. So that's a bad. Why is that bad? Right? It's like, why is that a bad thing that they stare because he's different? It's like that maybe maybe it's your interpretation of that the staring is bad when it's people just don't know.
Do you think that they feel sorry for him?
Yeah, it's like, or do you think that they what do you think that they think about that? So why does it annoy you that they stare at him? What's the result of that? Why is it annoying that they stare at him and think he's different? Why is that annoying? Because it's inappropriate, or it's like it's mean, or it's what is it indicating? It's more we're sort of looking for the emotion, more than the action. So what do you think about that? That's wrong. That's mean. That's rude. What is it? What is it? Why is that bad? Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, any of these things that annoy us, we've got to see what the basis of it is, what the real basis of it is, and then that's the part that's in us. And then we could see it in us, and then we might be just doing it to ourselves internally, between our head and our heart, or it's like we might be doing it somewhere else doesn't seem that bad. And then when we start, but it's still a message from us, because the noise, it's a message from our soul, it's a message from our spirit that it wants us to change our point of view, or it wants us to change that within inside ourselves. So
okay, so it's I guess because he has meltdowns, maybe I get more self-conscious and think that they are looking at him in a negative, rude way.
All right, so you feel like they're judging him and judging you as a parent, and it's like, so read it again. Just
I guess because he has meltdowns, and maybe I get self-conscious.
Yeah.
And think that they are looking at him in a negative, rude way.
So then they're looking at him in a negative. So it's a negative rude. Yeah, but it's a negative, rude way. So they're looking at him in a negative and a rude way. So it's like it's those two. So the negative part is and the self-conscious part is the judgment, and which relates to, that's why it's being rude, because there's nothing that can be done about it, because he's got downs. So it's like, so where are you? What are you looking at in a negative and rude way? It's like, what's rude? What are you staring at? What are you looking at? And it's probably something in yourself. It's probably in the, you're probably looking at your own thing of not knowing what to do when he has a meltdown. And then you're looking at yourself in that negative way, and you're staring at yourself. Why aren't I doing something about this? And so, and that's rude, because some things you just can't do anything about it. That's part of the condition. It's just like, or even if there is something that can be done about it, you haven't got the help to do something about that, right? So you haven't had the teachings, or you haven't had the training of how to deal with it. So it's rude to judge yourself. It's rude to stare at yourself and stare at the fact that you feel subconscious about the fact that you're not able to do something about it, or or it might be you might have a rude opinion to them for being rude to him. It's like it can be a bounce back on that one. So again, this is one I'd have to sort of explore a little bit more.
This week,
okay. So this is one we'll have to explore a bit more, because these things seem interlinked. There's a couple here that also intertwined. So some of them, it's one issue and it just goes over many different things. So it's a real sort of, and by dealing with that one issue, we can unlock a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll do that. You've got the free reading. So we'll come on to that one later on. So anyone else out there want to come on live? What time is it?
10 past 9.
Yeah, so we've still got some time. If anyone wants to come on live and have a little bit of chat, talk about some of their fears, some of their issues, and we can help you pinpoint it. We can help you find it within you, and that can release a whole bunch of stuff. If there's any other physical ailments, if you've got repetitive problems, you keep, bumping yourself, you keep knocking yourself, people keep cutting in front of you in the supermarket, it's like, it's, all these things are messages from our inner being, they're messages from our soul. So what have I got here?
Angela, my son has Asperger's and an anxiety disorder. He was so cute growing up. People would look at him. He would have a meltdown, and from 18 months old, he would yell, "Don't effing look at me."
Yeah. So what it is with the Asperger's, I had a partner whose kid had autism and stuff. They live in one mind, right? So they pick up everyone's thoughts and feelings and everything more so than everyone else. So, and when people look at them, they project the energy at them, and it's almost like they're yelling inside their head, right? So then, like, they want to block it out. They're like, don't look at me, because it amplifies these thoughts. It amplifies. They can hear so many people's thoughts and feelings, and that it's just really amplified in them. So one of the things that we've got the tool, which is Are They My Feels? This works so good with Asperger's and autism and stuff like that. You just say to them, who does that belong to? Return to sender. Who does that belong to? Return to sender is one way of saying it. There's a couple of different ways of saying it. Is that yours? No, that's not yours. Don't worry about that. Push it back, push it back, push it back. What there is they're just, it's like they got their volume turned up full and they got every radio station going at once. And then somebody else stares at them and looks at them, which amplifies that and magnifies it. So if you can teach them to start realizing that, to be able to push that back and say, return sender, it's not yours, push it out, push those thoughts out. Who does that belong to? It's not yours. Push it away. Who does that belong to? It's not yours. There's I've worked with quite a number, and it can be amazing. Like my ex's kid, he didn't hold his mum's hand, couldn't go like within meters of anyone. And after doing that for a couple of days, like just an hour here and there, a couple of days, the next day he went to school, and he walking into school, he went and grabbed his mum's hand. She was nearly in tears because he couldn't normally go anywhere near him. And if you look at him, it just amplifies it. It's just like they're just hypersensitive to thoughts and feelings. But they can learn how to push that back. And so one of the videos we've got on YouTube is Are They My Feels? Have a look at that video and see if you can start teaching them that technique.
Yeah. She's saying that she used to die of embarrassment, but that she learned to embrace it.
Yeah. Because
cool.
They're projecting their thoughts and feelings, right? So it's like, and it's just like, it's like for them, the pressure, and I get it, like when I'm doing readings and that sometimes, if you get too much, the pressure, it's like, it's drilling into your head. It slams you. So it hurts sometimes, right? And that's just their thoughts, right? And that's just their projections that they're doing at you. And these kids and these people, that's from the oneness mind, when you've got both sides of the brain turned on at once. So they've got that up full ball, and they don't know that it's just like, it's like everyone's yelling at them in their head, right? And so, and they don't know that it's everyone else. And then that when somebody looks at them, it just amplifies, and that's why they get angry. They've got nothing else to do but defend in that way. They've got to, yell at you to get you out of their head.
That's their mechanism.
Yeah. So, but you can teach them that. The video is on YouTube. Are They My Feels?
Go check it out.
There's a simple technique there. And you can start sharing that with them. Every time they get too much, you go, whose is that? That's not yours. Push it away. That's not yours. Push it away. Get it out. And it's like, and they do that a few times, and they go, wow, and they can really have a turnaround from that.
Okay, Marina's asked, I just had a crusty thing removed from the right-hand side of my nose. Is that father related?
So right-hand side's generally male, or the external physical world. And the nose is about the breathing in life. So it's about enjoying life. It's a lot to do with the heart chakra and stuff. So so how did she describe it? A crusty
thing removed from the right-hand side of my nose.
So so there's a blockage there. So the crusty thing is an old issue. So you're probably right on the mark there. It's just there's an old crusty emotions and that were blocking your nose or blocking your enjoyment. So it's like, but it's to do with your father, but it's to do with your emotions about it. Stop judging him about it, judging him about his ways or whatever. It's not to make him right. When you don't judge, you've got to forgive. Not to make it right. You got to bless everything that you went through, even if it was bad. You just got to see it as part of your life and part of your journey, and stop having a negative emotion, because the negative emotions just run around in the back constantly. Fucking, why did they do that? It's like judgment and all these negative emotions. So it's like you've got to we've got to get to a point where you learn how to bless everything that went on in your life, the crazy shit, the good shit, the bad shit, all of it. So when you can learn to bless it as part of your life and forgive and move on, you don't forgive it to make it right. You forgive for you to move on, to get rid of that. You know, it's the word crusty tells me that it's just old shit that was building up there, old emotions, old judgments, and that was stopping you from breathing in your life. So if you don't deal with that, something else is going to come up there, right? So if you deal with the emotion and start enjoying and breathing in your life and enjoying your physical external world, getting rid of those negative emotions towards that. And it's hard to see them because they're so old, we don't even think we've got negative emotions towards it. But, you know, if we've got hate, if we've got any of those things, these are the emotions that build up and just run automatically in the background.
So Bronze commented that I find being around people, especially after work, is draining. I work in child protection and use so much of my energy at work, it leaves me with nothing left to deal with others. Having fibromyalgia also makes me hypersensitive to noise and lights, etc.
Right. So, yeah, that's a tough one. No, well, it's not a tough one. You're in a tough situation with your work there because you're dealing with highly emotional stuff, and so it does take a lot of energy. So the child protection and you know, dealing with all that heightened emotion and everything else, you really need to. What's fibromyalgia? Is that a nervous thing? Is that to do with nerves or
Sure.
Fibromyalgia?
Makes me hypersensitive to noise.
Yeah, so you don't have enough time to relax and rest and digest. You're in fight or flight all the time, it sounds like. So the fibromyalgia is like, and you can't rest and digest. So you've got two nervous systems. You've got the fight or flight or rest and digest. So you need to sort of work out ways to give yourself some more time to switch off from the fight or flight, which is going to be really difficult in your job because you're dealing with such heightened emotions with people all the time.
She said, at the worst of times, it feels like I have worms in my head, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah, well, that's all the worms is like the meridians run around the head, and so the energy.
I can relate.
The energy can move, especially.
The energy can move around.
Yeah, so it's like especially
all
if
around.
it will move around like this. That's the gallbladder meridian.
It feels whack.
And that's got to do with anger and that. So, but because you're in the child protection, and it sounds like you're a bit of an empath, you're picking up everyone else's anger and everyone else's emotions. And then because you're picking up, you're feeling it inside. So the anger is going to affect the liver and the gallbladder. And then that's going to affect the energy because the gallbladder meridian runs all around the head. So it can really feel like there's stuff moving inside your head. So it's all the anger and stuff you're picking out of all these people, because I couldn't imagine how tough that would be from people judging and everything else. And you're trying to protect the kids. And so there's going to be shitloads of anger flying around with all of that all the time. So again, using that tool, They My Feels. So when you're getting the anger, when you're getting the frustration and all that, just check, say, is this mine? Is that mine? And if it gets less angry, if it dissipates a bit, just say return to sender or piss off, or get out, whatever command you want to say to get rid of it. It's like, so you're picking it up and you're taking it off them to try and protect the kid, but it's not really working because it's making you feel worse. The parents or whoever it is you're trying to protect them from are just going to be getting more angry by the sounds of it. It's like you're really taking on a lot of emotion there. That's really going to be taxing on the liver and gallbladder, especially anger and stuff like that. So it's really important to learn how to identify which feelings are yours and which are not. So that's why we have that video, Are They My Feels? So for every thought, feeling, and emotion we have, if we check on it and say, is that mine, or does that belong to me? If it gets less intense, if it's anger, if it's worry, then it's not yours. You're picking it up from someone else and you're magnifying it. So just say, go away or get out,
piss off,
or turn to sender, or whatever you want. And you do that a couple of times and start to realize that most of these emotions aren't yours, So, but it feels like subconsciously you're taking them on, trying to help, trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But then it's depleting your energy, so you don't have any real energy to help because it's really taxing you and making you tired. So again, I'd have to look at which particular emotions and that it is, but and it's like in all the thoughts of all these people and that they're all running around your head as well. So, but the worms and that movement issue, definitely sounds like gallbladder meridian issues, because the gallbladder meridian runs over the head like 3-4 times.
I can feel it now.
And it's like, and that's related.
I'm picking it up.
That's related to the liver, and it's about directing your life and doing what you want to do. So it's like, and then you're probably trying to stop yourself from being angry, because it doesn't make sense.
Judging.
It doesn't make sense, and it's like you're feeling all this anger, but you're not really angry, so you're trying to stop it. And it's got nowhere to go, so it's just building up inside, and that's just going to drain you, because the liver needs to direct our life and needs to be the one that guides the general in the meridians, and that anger and stuff will really block that up, and you'll feel that going up through the head quite a lot. Again, we'd have to talk to you a little bit more to give you some better ways of dealing with it, because there's for something like that, there's going to be real specific ways of dealing with it. That's the problem. But how do we clear it? The main one you're going to have to do is, is that anger? And if that feels light, then you go, is that mine? No, return to sender. Get rid of it. Piss off. Get out of my space.
Check out the links at the top there. Get onto our YouTube channel, and there's a basic tools, or our intuitive guidance tools you'll see there. So check out that one. Are they my feels?
I never knew that. Yeah, so the gallbladder, and it's the gallbladder meridian, not the gallbladder itself. So the gallbladder is the yin and the liver is the yang. So each of there's 5 main meridians, then they've got a yin and a yang. So there's 12 meridians, but there's 5 major systems. And so the liver is the one that directs our life. It's supposed to be the general. It's the one that gives us the strength, and it decides where we're going. And so the yin, the gallbladder is the yin part of that, which is quite a big meridian that runs all around the body. And that sort of gets quite affected when the liver, which is the negative emotion there, is anger, right? So because I'm guessing that you would be dealing with a lot of anger in that particular line of work. So you're just picking that up left, right, and center off everyone. And you're probably trying to do the right thing and not get angry yourself, but you're not actually chucking the anger out. And so that's really starts to tax the liver and gallbladder meridian. But the gallbladder meridian runs up at the back of the neck, those points on the back of the head. You can push on those corner of the back of the head, and you really feel it. If it's gallbladder, that little pointy bit down the back there, you push on that, and if that's sore, it's going to tell you straight away that's a big gallbladder issue, gallbladder meridian issue. So, and that will literally feels like it's moving all around the head, and it's like it can really freak out at times, because it does feel like worms or something else like that.
Yeah, so, but it's another good indication that it's energetic, right?
Yeah,
is when it moves around.
Yeah, so if everything's moving,
that's a
real
moves around. That's
anything
a good
that's moving is generally a really good indication that it's a meridian issue and that it's a liver gallbladder issue, because that's the one that moves things and stuff. So any pains that move are the same. If you have pain here and it seems to move somewhere else, same concept. It's going to have a liver gallbladder relationship, because that's the one that moves things around. The liver's the one that's supposed to direct and guide, the governor, the general. So that's you're probably going to have to work out how to not take on the anger as much. Subconsciously you're taking it on, trying to calm everyone down, but it's not working. It's having a reverse effect, and that's making you tired, because that's the biggest meridian in the body is the gallbladder. So
cool.
Okay. What else? We're nearly up for time. Yep. So we've got a couple of free readings for this week.
I think are taken now.
Yeah, that's
I saw all of them.
Yeah, they've been taken. The free readings we've got this week. Next week, if you've got any things, write down what annoys you. Write down some of your issues, but write them down in detail. And it's like, once you find the detail and you can agree to deal with it, like most of these physical problems, most of these ailments will go away very, very quickly. It's like all you got to do is actually recognize it and agree to deal with it, because it's all they are is a message from the soul, a message from the inner being, whatever you want to call it. They're trying to direct you to change your point of view or change your actions or change something in your life. And then, we think they're a negative, but they're actually kind of a positive. We're just because they're causing pain, or they're causing what feels like problems, so we're calling it a negative, but it's actually the positive part is it's a message trying to guide you to change something, or
so as an example, like you could get annoyed when people cut you off, right? was like, okay, people annoy me when they cut me off, but how does that make you feel? And, oh, you know, are they inconsiderate? Are they rude? Are they, you know, they don't listen to what I have to say? Or, you know, that's kind of that other part of it. The second part, how does it make you feel?
Yeah. So,
that's the kind of
so
stuff.
you can look at the basics, like, you know, people keep cutting you off. It's like, where do you cut yourself off?
Yeah.
Do you cut yourself off from including yourself? Do you cut yourself off from having fun? Do you cut yourself off from following your feelings? You know, these things are just a direct reflection. The inside our body is a reflection of the world. So the problems in the world are a reflection of the problems that we see in the world, that you see, that you notice, are a reflection of the problems that's inside of you. So that's why they say as above, so below. That's the basic meaning of that. So each system is a reflection of the next system above. So if you start to work with the problems that you see and say, you know, how can I change that in me? How can I change? You know, if you see too many, if there's not enough, you know, peace in the world, there's too much war. You go, okay, where's the war in me? You know, is there a war between my head and my heart? You know. Is there a war between how I see the world, and is there a war between me and God because God's fucked up the world? You know? It's like there'll be some warring energy inside of you, and so, you know, these things are just reflections, and by changing them or agreeing to look at them and agreeing to change them, the intensity of how we see them, and that goes away very quickly.
You know, and these things will just keep coming up.
Yeah.
The messages will keep coming. You'll find yourself in the same situations or experiencing the same feelings, negative emotions, on and on and on.
And if it's physical problems, like, you know, you go and get surgery on something, you know, if you don't deal with the energetic side of it, they'll just keep popping back up. You know, I had a heart problem a couple of years ago, and I went and got surgery and that, and seemed to fix it for about 3 months. And then it came back, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? I'm not listening to my own teachings here. So, you know, it's like I'm not listening to my heart. I'm not following my heart. So, you know, I started doing that, and I started seeing where I was doing it in little ways, started correcting it, and it fixed the heart arrhythmia. So it's like, but if I hadn't done it, I could have went back for more surgery and until I had to put a pacemaker in. You know, it's like, but, you know, now I correct it. Still pops back up every now and then just to warn me. It's like, oh, you're not listening. Listen, speak from your heart. It's like a little warning bell I've got now. So, yeah. Okay. So, all right, guys.
I think that will wrap it up this week.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for contributing.
Thank you very much. Yep, and hopefully you'll join us next week.
Grab a notepad, write down what annoys you.
Yeah.
Until next time.
And share it with
Let's have some fun.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Catch you later. See ya.